Welcome to the One Up Reviews, The Last of Us. I am your host, El Caballo, aka Tony, here with my co-host in the building, DJ Doey Fresh,
Yo.
the bald one, the great one, Pucho,
and the best gamer in the on the One Up podcast. But, what's going on, my brother?
also the Texas one without a gun, Mateo's in the building.
What's going on, dude? He probably has the most platinums. It's just to toss that out there.
That too.
I got the most headshots. I got everything out here. I don't need
I think
platinums.
Doey has the most trophies, though.
He
Doey
does.
has more trophies than
He
me.
does.
You think so?
I think so. I remember your score being higher than mine, your PSN score.
No way. You gotta have a higher score.
He has probably more completed trophies. You have just more trophies overall because you play more games.
Maybe.
We don't have to like hype me up any more than I need, but
Facts. Cut that shit off. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just give a round of applause real quick. Just a round of fucking applause. This show, amazing. Fantastic. If you don't know about the show, never played the game, go buy it. It's on discount right now on PlayStation Store. Go watch it on HBO.
Is it on discount right now? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool.
The remastered version too, not no regular shit.
the remake, you mean, or the
Yes,
remaster?
the only remake that was allowed to be a remake.
Well, no, because the game came out on PS3, then it got remastered for the PS4, and then they just remade it for the PS5.
Yeah, so then
Or
it's
they
the last one.
re-remastered.
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
remaster. But for real, if you're under a rock, even Patrick Starfish knows about The Last of Us.
They even prepped for the show with ads on PS5. They said, "You've watched the show, now play the game."
Facts. That's how
Clever.
hype.
It's good marketing, dude.
It's the hype. This is hype.
I think they only remade the game so that when the show came out, they could get a boost in sales with a game that's like modern graphics, you know?
Yeah, probably. Don't matter though, because what this show did to the game, or what the game did to the show, vice versa. However, it's fantastic. We're gonna do a quick spoiler-free, at our best, quick spoiler-free. What we thought about it, and yeah, I'll let the great RPG master Pucho start us off with his feels. Go ahead,
All right.
Pucho.
Aside from some minor moments, okay? I loved everything about the show. I love the casting. I love the sets, the places where they use CG. And they use it very sparingly. A lot of the stuff you see are practical effects, which I tend to like better. It feels like it just looks better, but I don't know. Everything about the show, I love damn near everything. It's a faithful retelling of the game. And the things they do different I just love it. There's scenes in the show that don't happen in the game, and it only adds more to the characters that we already know. And I thought that was really cool. So.
I mean, that's the advantage of working with the creators so closely on the show, right? Like, did y'all watch any of those, like, the little after episodes, inside the episode things? I watched every single one
of them.
It's so good, man. Like, the way that they talk about the process and how they're all, like, how open he was to reinterpreting some of the ideas he had in the game. I think as Pucho said, it just enhanced the whole experience.
Limitless. Sure,
Like, and obviously the casting was fantastic. Like, Bella Ramsey as Ellie, Pedro Pascal as Joel. Fantastic casting, so good. They had great chemistry, and it's I just watched the entire season again this weekend in preparation for this, and the way they build their relationship throughout the show. Phenomenal.
Even some of that pacing has changed from the game, but I thought everything that they did was really well done.
Yeah, I agree with everybody's feels. I almost cried at one of the parts though. We'll get into that. I don't want to spoil it, but
I think it's intended. They want you to cry.
yeah, I literally teared up because as a father, if I feel like got to make decisions and stuff, so that's why the game and the show is such an amazing. It's top 3 right now for me.
I've got to say one negative thing about this show. If you try to binge watch it in one weekend, it's just gonna break your heart over and over and over again. It is an emotional roller coaster of a show.
And I also just want to say, because I've always said this and no one's ever believed me, HBO don't miss.
No one believes you. What the fuck? That's my line. That's my line. HBO don't miss.
HBO
okay?
don't miss. That is Pucho's line.
They got a couple duds, but we're talking.
minor.
Those are diamonds in the or those are roughs surrounded by diamonds. All right, I'm talking about HBO. They're you got to dig through the diamonds to find the dud. A piece of coal in there. Right? They don't miss.
Yeah, I mean, you're speaking nothing but truth, dude. I just caught up on the show Barry. What a good show. What a damn good show, too.
Yeah, man. So we got all the spoiler free out of the way. Let's just jump right into it.
No, I want to say the casting, the people who felt important, and the NPCs felt like NPCs. I was like, these are not going to be around very long.
I mean, that's fair. Like
yeah.
Joel is fighting dudes, and it's just like, oh, it's a white dude with a beard. That's about all you need for that NPC character.
He gonna die.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. The entrant, just the beginning, the first second of this fucking show. Holy shit, blew my mind. Explains how Ellie became Ellie. In the game, it doesn't show that.
Yeah.
So this is new for even people who play games, and when whoever's gonna watch it, this is a spoiler right now. So if you don't want to listen to it, please just get out of here.
Yeah, we don't gotta warn no more. They already knew.
Her
Spoiler
giving-
free, it's over.
Her mother giving birth as she's getting bit. I was like, so this is how she fucking became invincible. A second.
Did you notice who the actress was?
No, I don't know. I was trying to figure out her name. I didn't get to Google it, but
It's the actress that played Ellie in the video game series.
You should have recognized her voice because that's Ashley Johnson. Yeah, all her grunts, I'm like, this just sounds like Ellie. Like,
Yeah.
damn.
It's,
Yo, what's
clever.
crazy?
It's clever. It's such a good way to bring her into the show. Is having her play Ellie's mom. It's a really
That's
smart
awesome.
choice.
And in the previous episode, they had the voice actor for Joel as well.
Mm-hmm.
He was a character. He's the
Plays
guy
James.
he plays James. He was the right hand man to David. Ellie cuts him with the meat cleaver in the neck.
Oh wow, I didn't even realize that. The voices. See, I wasn't paying attention to the voices like that.
Oh, dude, he was doing the Joel voice too for that character. It sounded almost exactly like Joel.
Damn, that's amazing.
And then I guess to keep the voice actor for Tommy in the game, Joel's brother, he was in the episode with, what's the episode that I called you that girl, Doey, the woman? She's
Oh,
Kathleen. She's like Kathleen's right hand man, that military dude. He gets fucked up by the bloater. Like he gets like blah blah blah.
He tears
like,
his
laid
head
out.
off, I think.
Yeah. The bloater rips his head off. That's the voice actor for Tommy. And
Was it
then
really?
the voice actor for Marlene is Marlene in the show.
Oh,
So
that's
the
fantastic.
Yeah. So the person who played Marlene in the game is also Marlene in the show.
That's incredible.
And there's probably others that I don't know about, but yeah,
Damn.
those are the four characters I know. Are in the show. And
That's awesome that they were able to bring him in that way, especially Marlene. I mean, because she played it perfectly. I was thinking the entire time, I was like, she's a spot on Marlene from the game. This is wild.
Yeah.
That explains it.
That shit is I don't know, bro. Like it was quick. I felt like that beginning was so quick, but it was so impactful. Cause it's like after all these years, you finally get to see what happened and who the mother was and all this. And then as soon as it happened, give life. First off, and they used a real newborn baby. I want you guys to know that. That wasn't no like CGI shit.
It was an actual newborn baby.
Yes. If you read the little episode things afterwards, it'll tell you they actually use a newborn baby. That's crazy. I don't know what the fuck you got to do to get a newborn baby on the show.
I guess it had to be born like that week or something.
I don't know how they did it, but they pulled it off. That shit's crazy to me.
What a wild casting call to pull out. We need a baby that's going to be born in this week that we're shooting this scene.
Yeah, bro, because you got to think that baby don't got shots. Like, what parents? You know what I mean? Like, they had to be fans of the show. They had to be. Some way, somehow. There's just no way you just get somebody to give a newborn to a bunch of people to act with.
That baby did look very newborn.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously. Yeah, and so you're born into this life. You fucking stab this bitch. Stab this fucking creature. Your friend comes and sees the baby because you're supposed to meet him at the house. Then your friend ends you. That she even told her no.
At her request, she ends her.
Yes, she even told her no. She walked out of that room. Like, it's hard. For me, it's hard. It's like, damn, you're losing a friend. You're gonna take care of her child. Then you know what I mean? But you
Tony,
the
I
one.
know that we said no breaks, but we might need to take a break.
Yeah.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Technical difficulties. But back to that. Spoiler. So yeah, after she gets hit with that headshot from her best friend, I think that she was torn, and that's what brought like a lot of life into her as a character. I mean, because we've seen her before, obviously, but it's just like you can just see like she is so sad. As soon as she opened the door, she sees her friend, gave birth or whatever. She knows like she's gonna have to do something here. And it's going to be something she doesn't want to. Just like in every great movie, every great game, there's always a damn, I'm sad as hell.
I was gonna ask y'all, is this new background information for Marlene that they built out in the show? It's not referenced in any. Okay.
Yes.
Wait, sorry. What's new about Marlene?
Their
That
friend.
she the friendship level, like the birth and all that. None of that is ever explicitly spelled out in the games anywhere else.
The friendship level in the game, they mention that Marlene was best friends with Ellie's mom.
Okay.
But
They
not-
didn't mention it on the show, which I thought they would. But like when they were in Boston, that conversation plays out. I think she tells Joel or Tess. She says that she was best friends with Ellie's mom.
Gotcha.
So I thought that aspect was just out of the show completely. But then obviously this scene, they were like, yeah, we've known each other since forever. So they kind of doubled down on that.
Tony,
Yes.
if I was carrying my newborn and I got bit, would you take my newborn and shoot me in the head?
Yeah. If you asked me to.
Yeah.
If you asked me to father your newborn, I would father him and shoot you in the head.
How easy would it be for you to shoot me in the head?
I'll be sad. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll be sad, but I'll pull the trigger twice just to make sure.
I didn't like how Marlene shot Ellie's mom.
It was just quick, right?
It was too fast.
It was
was like I'm not gonna do it, and that poor woman was sitting there just pondering her depression over dying, her losing her child. Blah! She just got shot. She didn't even get the chance to say goodbye to nobody or nothing. It felt like you took this into your hands a little bit too strongly. Okay.
I think it's like a ripping the bandage off effect. You know what I mean? Let's not slowly do this. Let's just get through this because we both know and
the outcome.
Yeah. So it's just like
Yeah, but in that moment, it feels more like a murder. You know what I mean? It's like, I asked you to do this. You said nah. And I'm like, all right, cool. No, that sucks. All right. Please? No? All right.
I found it
Well,
weird.
blah.
though.
It's like, oh, shit. You know, it's like I don't know. It's like, has enough time passed? The statute of limitations passed since the ask to the kill? Is it? I don't know. Imagine you ask somebody to kill you and they kill you 2 years from now. That's a murder, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's like, what's the amount of time, you know? So,
I did
What,
find.
I mean, what if Doey gets bit and Tony shoots him before Doey even finishes the sentence, asking him to shoot?
I mean, I would be like, he did what needed to be done, but that was foul.
Yeah, but I don't know if you guys know this, or maybe I'm bugging. I'm gonna rewatch it though after this. When she opens the door, obviously she has the knife to her or the shiv to her neck, right? Mm-hmm. But scene next, the knife's on the ground, her hand's on the ground, and then they flip back, and it's back to her neck again. So I felt like there was a little bit of editing issue they had there. It was something I saw. I was just like, that's weird. Maybe they did a cut scene and then they realized where her hand placement was in. You know,
I'll say this. I don't think that happened because my wife is the master of continuity errors. and she would have spotted this. But it happens. Continuity errors happen all the time.
Yeah, I just found it funny.
But she works. She's like a graphic designer, and she's done plenty of campaigns, video shoots, and all that stuff. And it's like part of her job is making sure there's not continuity issues. They'll be like, it's day 3 of the shoot. It's like, oh, that guy put on a different color shirt. He needs to put the shirt back on. And it's like shit like that all the time. So we be watching things, and she'll be like, that coffee mug moved. It moved. And then like I rewind it, and if she's always right, I'm always like, how the fuck? What are you looking at? Like, why are you looking at the coffee mug in the background?
I can't
Watch the actors.
I can't wait to go back and watch and be like, oh, I got the one up on
Text
Lacey.
Lacey. Yeah, text her and be like, you missed the continuity error.
She's gonna be mad, big mad.
She'll be tight.
But yeah, no, like it was a quick thing. Like I was shocked by how quick it was too, though, Pooch. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, it's a lot of emotions mixed in. And then,
how'd y'all feel about how she had time to run into the house, call for help, run upstairs, go into the door, lock herself behind the door? Zombie's still far as shit. So this zombie running from a distance. Mm-hmm. How he homed in on her like that? She was sitting straight to her door, banging through the door. I was like, how the fuck the infected knew that she was in that room? I thought that was a little weird.
Yeah, that infected had like some superhuman abilities, some super infected abilities to be able to hone in on her like that.
Facts. And then I'm thinking to myself, like, how far did that thing see her that she's outrunning that thing in the woods? 'Cause she's pregnant.
Exactly.
What do y'all think about the approach the show had, where they didn't really there was good action sequences in the show, right? But it wasn't like, it didn't feel like the priority of what they were trying to express in the story. Like even the hospital rescue scene we just saw, that's like a frantic like 20 to 30 minute section there, and they just did like this montage of it. And I thought it was awesome. I thought that it worked really well. I've heard some people online complaining about the lack of action in this show.
This show's really based around the fight of Joel losing a daughter, then gaining a daughter one way. So it's mostly, the show's revolved around their relationship, what he lost, what she lost, or what she never really had because she was, a baby, and then them loving each other in a way of father-daughter love. That's all that is. It's not really based around gun black, because we get that in every other show. This is more to give you connection with the main actors and actress. So I think they did a good job.
I loved, first off, I just want to give a little shout out to Tony. That was the most coherent explanation I think I've ever heard you give about anything. So kudos to you. I think we should give a little clap or a little round of applause. I really like it. But yeah, I agree with everything Tony just said. One thing, oh God, I fucking lost what I was gonna. Okay, okay. So I like that they didn't go all in on the action, because in the game, Joel is basically a fucking mass murderer. You kill like 1,000 infected. You kill hundreds of humans on this journey. Mm-hmm. Like he's destroying human life all throughout the game, and it's like, it's not very realistic. So the fact that in this show, you see him like if you think of how many people did he really kill, it's like he killed that one guy who tried to kill them in the first episode.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, I don't know how many episodes before he has to kill somebody again, till like when they get to Kansas or some shit, Kansas City or whatever. And then the next time is like at the university. So it's only like 4 episodes, 5, I think. Maybe 5 total episodes of the 9 that he actually kills anybody, and we're talking 2 to 3 people tops.
I think it's 5.
So it's like they went for What do you mean?
5 bodies
total. Yeah, sure. I'm saying that in any episode where he kills people, it's like 2 to 3 people he ends up killing.
And we're not counting infected as like
killing
humans.
Right? Humans.
Yeah, nah. Because even the infected, like, aside from the scene where he's like sniping when they're in Kansas City, he shot a lot of infected in that scene. Besides that, I can't really remember him killing many. There's like they had the scuffle with the clickers in the second episode, And then after that, I can't even remember when they encountered infected again. Like
I like that they because that episode happened and like the clickers came in and they was super scared and they were hiding and whatnot. And I was thinking, I was like, as someone that played the game, clickers are scary, but you run into them all the time. They're not that big a deal. But because that was like one of their only really encounters with clickers, it made it that much more impactful. It made it you'd realize just how much hardier those are to kill compared to like the normal infected.
yeah,
But it upped the
especially
drama.
because at that point in the game, that's really like your first encounter with the clickers as well. And you're horrified. You're so scared. You're seeing, yeah. And by the end of the game, you know the clickers. You know how they work. You could throw a thing. You could throw like a brick, get behind them, stab them, or whatever the fuck, and it's not that bad. But like at that point in the game, I remember being stressed out. Like I'm not playing this shit. I was like, I can't do this. It's too
That
much
dark ass
sneaking
area
around.
and shit. Yeah, that shit is.
It's like
Let's-
the museum area. I liked it. I like that was an area that they chose, because that subway area is so fucking ass. In the game, I'm glad they didn't have that stupid ass subway area in the game in the show.
Let's talk about how well they adapted some of the actual video game sequences of The Last of Us. Like,
You mean the
like
giraffe?
The giraffe was cool. That hospital scene, he's running through, he's killing dudes, picking up their weapons as he runs out of ammo, and killing and continuing his rampage, which is exactly what you do in the game. You have no gear, you're killing people, you're grabbing their shit, killing more people. Like, I thought it was clever, the little like shout outs they did to like the actual video game.
I had to pause the show and I was like, is that giraffe real or fake? I was like, yo, the shit looked good.
It was hard to tell. My wife said CG instant, but I was like, sometimes it looks CG, and other times I'm like, is that
When it-
a real fucking giraffe? Like
When it was
I
whipping
couldn't
out the
tell.
tongue and stuff, I was like, damn, that looks really good.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think that was a real giraffe, bro. There's no way that if that's CGI, bro, that they hit a new level.
Yeah, that's a new level for me because I was like, I can't tell if it's fake or not.
It's like them dragons in Game of Thrones. Them shits look real. Like, you know, a dragon doesn't exist, but it looks like there's a dragon there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They'd be good.
yeah, but that.
So recreating the sequences from the game, right? That's what you're asking.
Yeah.
I think they did a phenomenal job. Like, the first thing that comes to mind is when they're like trying to get to the sniper. In the game, it's a whole thing. You're getting attacked by infected, you're getting attacked by humans, and the sniper's fucking good. If you pop out for like more than a second, boom, you get shot in the head. Where in this is like they kind of sped it up. It's dark. Joel's like, this guy sucks at shooting, and he kind of runs off. It kind of relates to how, like, part of what I liked is like, while they recreated a lot of things, they changed a lot of things. I was also curious. We could talk more about other scenes they recreated or gameplay segments, but I'm also interested to hear the differences in those gameplay segments and how you feel if it like added or took away from the show.
I think y'all have played more recently than I have, so I'll let Doey give an answer on that one.
So one thing that I didn't like is that like there were guns that were very special, like the shorty. I just wish he picked up the shorty somewhere. Just used it and then tossed it. I just wanted to see the shorty come out. But for the most part,
Was the shorty in the game? I don't remember.
yeah. And then they had that gun that only fired one bullet. It was like very powerful. That one was whack. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't remember the shorty being in the actual game, but obviously the shorty was in the multiplayer. Yeah. All four of us would run shorties. That shit was funny. Not
awesome.
very effective, but funny.
So like there's stuff like that, but I liked all the locations and scenes that they did. I even liked that they changed Billstown. Like Billstown was such a drag for me. So like recreating that whole experience, the best thing they ever did with the show. I think that episode in particular is gonna win like awards when it comes the time to it.
That is one of my favorite episodes in the show. Honestly, that Bill and Frank episode, so good. Like just building out these characters that you meet for a period of the game, but they're not like, they don't make it obviously, but like just building out that relationship there. I thought that was a clever way to do an episode.
I heard that Nick Offerman was very like iffy about doing the episode, and his wife was the one that pushed him to do it. Like she read the script, and his
That's
wife
awesome.
pushed him to do it.
I think
killed
that
it.
was my favorite episode of the show. But I was a little bummed out. Like the coolest part of Billstown in the game, in my opinion, was when Joel walks into one of Bill's traps and gets
And it's
like,
upside down.
He gets upside down, and then the infected start running at him, and he's like shooting the infected or whatever, and then Bill comes and saves him. I thought that scene was like really fucking cool, and it's one scene that I think I would have liked to have seen in the show.
That's fair. I kind of like the way they built out characters, Bill's character a little bit more, where he's like this mirror for Joel to look into and see like that the life is worth living. That there's more to what he's made his role in life after his daughter died, after the apocalypse.
Even in the game, though, he's also a mirror. He serves a similar function, but they're the opposite. Like in the game, Bill is so bitter about life, and he refuses to change his ways and accept anyone in his life, and he's gonna die alone. He's alive at the end, but he's in Bill's town by himself with nobody. He tells Joel and them to get the fuck out of his town and never come back. His lover left him and died, and wrote a note that said, "This is better than spending another day with you. I'm gonna die from. I just got bit. I'm gonna die, but dying like this is better than spending another day with you." And so, like, Bill in that situation is a lesson to Joel, saying, like, you need to be better. You need to like accept these people into your life. You need to fight for something. And in the show, Bill, that note that Bill left him, it was kind of like a kick in the ass for Joel to change his ways, but it was like in the positive, right? It was like Bill telling him more directly, like, look, I found something. You need to find something too, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. They served the same function, but just like in opposite ways.
Yeah,
He's got my favorite line in the show where him and Frank are having the argument. And he's like, and you're here with your tinfoil hat, conspiracy theories, saying the government is full of Nazis. He's like, the government is full of Nazis. He's like, yeah, but, now, not before.
I found it funny, though, that when he opens the door to the surgery room or whatever, that one doctor came up, oh, you and he said, "Pow! I ain't wasting my time with this conference." I think in the game it did the same thing, right? Like you shoot one of the doctors, or no? Am I tripping?
No, you could shoot him if you just aim your gun and shoot. I can't. There's another more gruesome death. If you walk towards the doctor, Joel takes the scalpel from him and stabs him in the neck. And I wanted him to do that. I was like, but then he just shot him real quick, and I was like, yeah, all right.
I just saw someone burn that doctor with a flamethrower on Twitter. They posted a video of that. They're like, you think this scene's going to make it in The Last of Us?
What I found cool too is that or not cool, is that even Ellie, she looked and asked him a question, and she wanted to believe his lies.
Hold on, let's reverse a little bit. Let's walk through. Let's continue walking through the episode.
I'm going to the straight sweep.
Yeah, you're going straight.
I just
to the
affected
crazy
me.
parts.
Go ahead.
Henry and Sam was amazing, the way they adapted their story.
Yes.
I thought the twist of making Sam deaf.
Oh,
fantastic!
Incredible. One of the best. Yeah, I was like, they keep doing this shit where they like, I don't know, character development, taking creative liberties with the show and changing things, and man, it all worked.
That has to fall
fucking
back.
worked.
What a genius solution too. That what was the thing called, the magic pad or something that he had?
Yes.
The thing that you could like write on and go
Yes.
and erase it. It's like such a this is the perfect thing for like a deaf person to be running around in this world. Like they could write practically infinity on this thing. And it's like that was genius.
They build out their relationship so well too, like the way that they're making the plan, and he like gets his brother involved by banging on the table and asking him, how do we get out of here? What's the plan? He's like, tunnels.
No, yeah, that I found that part like dope as hell too, because it was like, damn, like I don't know in the game if it was. I don't remember too well because I should have played Last of Us 1 before watching the show again. But I do find it that the freedom that they get making this show, because usually people who make the game, they don't like people getting too crazy where they have that fear. But I felt like since they were so well like together, he was like, "Yo, let's try it or let's do it." That chemistry had to be there for them to fucking be able to do this. Like, who would have thought like they would have used that scribble thing? Like, what the heck? The deaf boy, I thought sign languages would be the thing. No, wrote everything down.
I mean, they did a ton of sign language, him and his brother, but
Yeah.
the pad was more.
But the
for,
pad
like,
was more
talking with other
effective.
people.
Yeah. Because I mean, you got to think: what if your brother dies? How the hell are you going to communicate? Not everybody in the world knows how to sign language. But no, yeah, and I also find it funny how I forget her name, but she was in that vampire show as well.
Oh, True Blood. You're talking about the
Yes,
chick in
True Blood. Yeah. You know who I'm talking about. I forget her name.
Yeah.
Also pretty
So
dope.
who's the character?
She was Tommy's wife.
Yeah. What's her name though?
Okay,
What's her
awesome.
real name?
I do not know. I could not tell you that one.
Great
Yeah,
great actress.
People were pissed about her because she's white in the game.
Yes.
Yes.
Maria.
People were like, "How dare you be so woke and cast a character of a different color?"
People
There's
complain.
a hint. There's a character that shows up from the second game there.
That's what I've heard.
There's a little Easter egg. There's a character when they're in Jackson that looks at Ellie, and Ellie goes, "What the fuck you? Who the fuck are you looking at?" And the character runs away. Yeah, There's a
Awesome.
character from the second game that becomes an acquaintance of Ellie's, and there you go.
Wonder
I
how
thought that
long.
was cool.
Wonder how long we got to wait for part 2.
I'm hoping 1 year, like most TV shows.
It might be 2 with the way that HBO does things. It might be 2. I did hear though that we're probably getting a season 3 because they don't think they can adapt this the story from Last of Us 2 into a single season.
That's
It
fair.
is one of the longest games I've ever played that is a linear single player experience. I can't think of another single player game that's like linear like The Last of Us is, and as long. The second game in particular. The first game is pretty normal, but that second game, it's like split in 2 halves, and by the time you're at the end of the first half, you're like, it's enough. Like this is the end, and then they're like, they rewind and hit you with the whole nother perspective, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta play. And it's so long. The game is like twice as long as you expect it to be, and then even at the end of that, there's like a whole epilogue that's long enough that I'm just like, all right. But honestly, by the end of that game, I was exhausted. I was like, I can't wait for this to end. Even though I'm loving it, I couldn't wait for it to end.
Well, that's because we're going ham. Like, secretly, not even really secretly, like, we're all kind of just trying to get to the next part before the next person. Like, I remember, like, I was playing the game. Pucho fucking passed me at one point, and me just not even, me just not even trying to, like, beat him or pass him. I just flew right by him. And then it was just became a neck of thing. And then I think it took us a week and a half to beat the game. Am I bugging?
That's impressive.
I don't remember. I think I was the last person to beat it out of us, though.
You were The Last of Us.
Doey
Yeah, it was the last
is
one.
right. I think it was me then Doey, if I'm not mistaken. But the game, it was drawn out, like Pujo said. It was drawn out, but it was fantastic.
I don't think it was drawn out. I think it was necessary for the story they were telling, but it was just long. But sorry, let's keep talking about the shows.
Facts.
The line that broke me in the show, my second watch, is it already like made me emotional the first time I watched it. The second to last episode, she escapes from the cult leader after killing him, and he hugs her and says, "I got you, baby girl." Blah blah blah. Right? Tough line, super emotional scene. But I went back and watched the first episode, and that's what he would call his daughter, and those were like his last words to his daughter was calling her baby girl.
Yeah, I think that's why that scene was so important, because it signified like he finally is looking at her like a daughter.
Well, he's finally accepting that that's how he looks at her. Like he's been torn for episodes at that point, right?
The first murder scene in that episode is got to be one of the craziest things I've seen in cinema or TV in a while. The way that they keep the camera on the person as he's being stabbed by Joel, and you kind of just see like the life fade from his eyes, and he starts bleeding. And I was like, oh, this is crazy. I was like, this is nuts. Usually they pan off or they do something. They'll like kind of like when he hits the guy in the head with the lead pipe, it just like goes to a different, it doesn't normally stay there that long.
I don't know, man. His threat to that first guy of where he stabs him in the leg and he's like, I will pop your fucking kneecap off, is one of the most frightening threats I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone popping my kneecaps off.
Yeah. For that episode, I wish they showed us a little bit more passage of time. I feel like in the game, they showed that like Ellie had been trying to nurse him for a little while. She got him the medicine, and it even looked like at least 24 hours or so passed since giving him the medicine. It seemed like he went from on the
Stuck
brink
on the
of
ground.
death to like moving a little bit too fast for me. But yeah, though, even the way he killed that guy, it was like, I need to find the perfect hiding spot and then let gravity do the rest. That's how he killed that guy. He's like, I'm going to stand right here with the knife. And as soon as the guy got in position, he just fell forward like the fucking alligator Hook. The alligator Hook just falls down. Oh, and eats Hook.
Damn, what a reference, dude. Killing it with the references this weekend.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, no, the only problem I had with the last episode is just how in the hospital.
You just keep going straight to the last.
Straight to the end. How'd
You're
you guys
dying.
feel about the Native
I'm-
American family?
how?
I'm calling them Native
I
American. Maybe they're not.
loved
Maybe they're
it.
Asian. I think they were
Native
Native.
They're
American.
Asians.
Native
I
American.
thought they were like Native Americans or like Inuit descended or something along those lines.
Right.
Knew it.
That was amazing. That family.
Yeah,
they
I like
couple.
they were my favorite, dude. They had no fear from any of that home invasion.
That lady was like, he's got a gun. If I was Joel, I would have got the fuck out of there right there. I was like, these people ain't fucking around.
I want a spin-off of just those two and then with Iraq when he asked, "Are you telling him the truth? Did you tell him the truth?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Are you telling me the truth?" She's like, "Yeah."
I said, I'm like, yo, there's a reason they're in that cabin and not in Jackson. I'm like, there's a reason they're still out there and they have not gone to Jackson yet.
That wasn't in the. I don't think that was in the game either, right?
No, that was completely like added. But I thought it was awesome for world building. How did you guys feel about the Kansas episode? I thought Kathleen major. I was like, ooh, I hate this bitch. I'm like, yo, she did her job so well. Like I was just like, whoa. I felt very I really enjoyed them building out Kansas and them breaking away from Fedra, and I like that whole arc. It's crazy how you could still look at the people as villains even though they broke out of oppression. It's just crazy.
I would agree with that. I didn't like her either, but she did play a great role. I wanted more backstory on them though too though. Like I felt like maybe what.
Sorry, I just remember. Yo, I have multiple people that use my HBO account, right? Somebody set the fucking HBO account to Spanish. Every time I start episodes, motherfuckers are talking Spanish, and I was like, oh, and I change it back to English. That Kansas episode, it starts with them getting their, like, basically overthrowing Fedra. But in Spanish, when it happens, they're screaming "Libertad," like liberty. They're screaming liberty, like in the fucking like in Scarface, where all the guys in the refugee camp, "Libertad, libertad." But anyways, when that happens, I'm like, oh shit, these motherfuckers went to like Cuba or like where are they? Where are we right now? And that I I got totally duped. It took me a little bit to realize that the whole scene ended until Joel started talking Spanish. I was like, oh shit, okay. Then I rewinded. I don't even remember what they were saying.
They were saying "fuck Fedra."
Right, it was like fuck. It was not as cool as Liberty. Okay, I just want to put that out there. Sorry, I just remember that. It got me today. I put on the season finale, and the lady, she's like running, and she's, I don't know what's the first thing she says. She says something in Spanish, and I was like, oh shit, where are these people? I was like, oh fuck. My wife was like, oh, the Spanish again. I was like, oh, you got it.
I might actually go back just to watch that part in Spanish. Librita. That's funny. That's funny.
Did you like the flashbacks to like the first day, like with the little Indian lady in the beginning of the show?
I thought it was cool. I thought it built out the world so much. I wanted more of that, honestly. I wanted more of the views of like everything kicking off, everything starting. I wanted to see them bombing a city or something. I wanted some more of that world building.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. When it all led up to her saying bomb, I was like, oh shit. I was like,
dude,
yo,
her
this
holding
is
the
wild.
tea and just it's shaking because she knows what's coming. Like she knows just how bad what's happening is. I thought that was awesome. The flashback scene with the those left behind or whatever the DLC is.
Yeah.
Never played that DLC. I thought that was great. How did that compare to like the game experience?
They're missing like half of the DLC. So in the game, and it would have been cool if they did it actually, but in the game you're playing as Ellie and you're trying to find medical supplies for Joel, and you're running through a mall and you're getting attacked by David's men actually, but as you're making your way through that segment trying to find supplies, food, medicine, every now and again Ellie sees something and it reminds her, and then it keeps flashing back and you get a little bit of her past with Fedra and with Riley, and then you continue the present day, and that kind of keeps going back and forth like that.
Gotcha. I guess they didn't include that because they wanted the reveal of David as this villain, because he comes across, if you're not paying attention too close, it's kind of like maybe this dude's all right. Maybe this is a cool little community they could join.
But yeah, I wish they did add that. I didn't really pay too much attention to that, but yeah, thinking about it from the game, how she went off on her own little, not adventure, but gathering her materials and stuff. That would have been nice to see that in on the show.
If you guys had to choose one, would you be Fedra or Firefly?
I feel like Firefly is the answer, but I also, we're going to get into like the ending here shortly, right? And like what our thoughts are on the decisions made in the show and the game.
I'll just say this, okay? Lesbian love does not match gay dude love, okay? Gay man love is just so intense. That episode with the two gay dudes, you felt their love so powerfully. Ellie Riley, it was cool, it was sweet. It just didn't hit the same.
Well, the Ellie and Riley love too was also like this teenage puppy love almost, right? Like it was fleeting. Like
yeah, but it's also like
because their plans were bullshit. They were like we'll just go wherever we want to. No, that's not how life was going to work out in that situation.
I just feel like a lot of girls have a lesbian phase, so the whole lesbian thing is like, it's like yeah, the gay dudes, man. When you get involved with a gay man, you gotta know it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just thought that was funny.
I think it's a little hot.
Nah, I'm just kidding. You guys are so fucking silent, so deadpan. All right.
There were hints to her past that I didn't catch until that episode. Like when they're scrounging the station where he has like supplies hidden, right? It's when she goes off on her own and she kills that infected in the basement, whatever. But she sees the Mortal Kombat thing and she's like, oh man, she's like, I've got a friend that's so good at Mortal Kombat. Didn't even click at all who she was referring to with that until that episode.
Same, yeah.
I didn't realize that either. Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
what?
I like the idea that they would find like, imagine them finding like old like what are they like EGM or, right? Is that the old like game magazine?
Yeah.
Right, like
IGN?
they finding shit like that, and like reading through like, oh, Mortal Kombat 2's coming out, and just being like obsessed with like learning about this game. Then she's like, oh, I found this poster, I'm gonna put it on my wall. Finding like Riley must have found like cheat code books or something to learn like, oh, how to do a fatality and shit like that. Like just the idea of them like that must have occurred in order for like the events to play out like they did. I think that was super cool.
She
Yeah,
had the
that's awesome.
cult. She had the cult classic on her wall, Red Planet. I just watched that movie recently. It's pretty fucking funny that poster was on her wall.
I'm glad they were obsessed. It was Mortal Kombat 2 or 3.
Two, the better Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I was going to say Mortal Kombat 2 is definitely the better one. But both of them are better than Mortal Kombat 1. Mortal Kombat 1, it plays like garbage. So they made a good choice on the game they were going to be obsessed with.
Mortal Kombat 3 just got some ill ass combos. Like you could do like, 30, 40 hit combos and shit. It was cool.
So, may I get to my good part?
Yeah. Probably.
Now, how'd y'all feel? All right, we're gonna skip ahead. How'd y'all feel with Joe killing people in the hospital?
I think it was the stare. Just off rip, the stare thing is where he made that split decision to be like, "Fuck it, I'm going for it."
Did you notice the subtle moment before that?
Just to
The
walk
first time
slowly
he
down
stops, the first time he stops, the guy said, "Who told you to stop?" He was looking at the signs of the hospital to know where
floor.
would the surgery place be. Like, all right, where do I need to go to find Ellie? Like, that's what he did the first time he stopped, and I was like, oh, that's a nice touch.
That's
like
clever.
Joe's like looking for a way out of this, like so hard.
Yeah, because he was just fighting. He was already planning like, all right, I'm not leaving without her. I'm just gonna, that was good.
They
Definitely less people in the hospital than in the game, right? Like in the game, you kill like 40 dudes on the way to rescue Ellie or something, right?
They also swap some stuff out from the game because in the game you start to read papers about things like this being done before and it not working. So it kind of gives Joel some like he has some
moral
leverage. But now it's like, no, he murdered an entire hospital full of people, like with knowledge that she was gonna be like a cure.
Maybe a cure.
Maybe it was still a maybe.
They didn't say maybe. She didn't say maybe there.
She said, we think we could take this thing out of her brain and grow it into some cells, and then we think we could make a cure. It was enough.
I don't think she said think. I don't
All right,
think
we're
she
getting
ever
ahead of
said think
ourselves.
one time.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. Okay. The hospital scene made me a little bit uncomfortable. It felt like some mass shooter shit. I'm not gonna lie. Like just the way Joe was walking around the hospital, like he was stalking people. It made me uncomfortable. Like I was like, this is a bad guy. The guy
scene,
that we fall in love with, he's a bad guy.
The scene is supposed to make you a little uncomfortable, though. Like even in the game, I think that's the reason you kill so many people on the way to save her. It's supposed to reinforce this idea of like, you say you can't kill one person to save all these people, but here you are killing 40 people to save one person in this hospital.
Yeah.
I think it was that just showed. I mean, like you just said earlier, right? Like in the game, Joel is a fucking killer. He kills almost everything and everything in sight. This hospital scene is like a glimpse of what he could have been if they really played that role and did the whole show like that. But
I mean, even in the show, he's pretty stone cold, man. Like he kills people without hesitation. The guys that he's interrogating when he's going to rescue Ellie from David. There's hints that people are so terrified of him in like the QZ that they don't even want to deal with him. Like the just threatening that Joel's going to be upset about something is enough to get you out of like a life and death situation.
because I want to get to that part, but I can't even talk about it. But
I mean, Marlene says it. Marlene's like, I really didn't want to have to owe you.
yeah, because they know how Joel is. Once you lose your kid, you flip. There's a switch that flips, right? And then when he was saying, like, he tells Ellie, like, oh, like, I was going to kill myself. Like, that's how he got the scar or whatever, going through all that phase. He's just on that I don't give a fuck path. And Ellie is that bringing him back down to to life, to making him a human again. I guess is what she's doing to him, and then that's in the hospital scene where he's just like this is my last, like this is my child, this is my last bit of life. Like this is you lose this kid now, that's it. Like you got nothing to live for. That's why he said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna kill everybody to get to her to get the fuck out."
Yeah, that hospital scene, aside from making me feel uncomfortable, it felt like he was too good too. Like he mowed those guys down. Like he killed maybe like 15 people, like to get to that room, and I was just like, not that he shouldn't have been capable of, because I could find ways to like justify it or whatever, but it felt a little bit like the most unrealistic part of the whole show, which is like the whole show they made it so grounded, like he's only killing 1 or 2 guys in any given, but this time he's like he's going through a hospital with a bunch of guys with guns that are, I don't know how trained they are, right? That's a question, but they're certainly there with guns prepared to kill people. And he's mowing these guys down.
I mean, there were some close calls. There were some like near misses on him and whatnot. But yeah, he made it through without injury. Which maybe if he had taken, I don't know, a grazing shot. I hate that shit though, where it's like, oh yeah, I just got went right through the shoulder, in and out, no big deal. Because the show's been so impactful about like he gets stabbed and he almost dies. Like injuries matter in this world.
And it could be just because of like just the adrenaline that's going through him. Like Joel's always been in the game, he's an unstoppable beast. So I kind of like the fact that it was like a switch again. He switched it on. He came beast mode. At that point he's just fucking zoned in to where it's just like second nature to him. It's just bomb, killing everybody. That's why he killed the doctor so damn quick. It didn't even care. Give me my child. I'm out of here. And I think that was cool. I think they did the hospital scene great. I wouldn't I think that's the only way that shit should have went down. To be honest, like I don't think it was bad.
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't a super extended scene. I'm glad that they did it like the montage cut mode that they did to show like how frantic it was, like how fast he was running through that hospital. Maybe that's the reason he was able to kill so many of them so easily. Like he caught him off guard. Although you would think if they were smart, they would realize he was going to Ellie, and they would have just like posted up in the surgery room or something.
Facts. Wasn't that? I lost my train of thought now. Oh yeah. So
it's the thing you want to talk about. Go ahead.
Yep. So Ellie asked him, like, what you said, did it really happen? This and that. She knows not to believe him. She knows he is lying, but she accepted it. And I wonder, is it because like she does want to live and she wants to be happy with Joel? Like it's just like a fight. Like she's fighting it within herself. He's fighting within himself to lie to somebody, to lie to her. So it's just like they both know wrong. They both don't want to know. No, they don't want to say the truth and accept it. So she just is like, okay, like I'm kind of happy you made it, but I'm actually not.
What I've heard is that the first game, and by extension the first season of this show, the concept is love. It's what would you do for love? How far would you go for love? What defines your love for you, right? And the second game and the second season are going to be more on vengeance and hatred.
Yeah, because
it's going to be kind of a duality thing going on there.
Those are certainly the themes of those games.
For sure.
Because like in this, obviously in the last episode here, it's the whole show just revolved around that one scene, that one, like him making a decision, and her making a decision, like about that, like saving and rescuing. Oh, should you have done something else? You know what I mean? Like what happened if he just let it be? Would have saved. You know what I mean? That was the big thing about that show. That is the decision. Like what. Could it be different? And I think that even though a lot of people said, oh, I would have left it or whatever, I think if any one of us was in that predicament, we would have done the same thing.
That was the big question that I wanted to get into in the review. Right. Was Joel's decision the right decision to make?
Bro, he does Marlene so greasy. She put her gun down. and everything, bro. He did her super greasy.
Marlene was a liar, though. She's not going to come after him.
Yeah, right.
No way.
Don't believe that shit.
Yeah, he knew for a fact she's gonna come after him.
Facts.
He did the right thing. And yeah, he did do her dirty. He did the other dude dirty too. He encountered somebody who put their gun down in the hospital scene, and he shot that motherfucker dead. And there's another guy he shot in the leg that was incapacitated. He walked up and shot him in the head. Like, dude wasn't fucking around. He was like, ain't nobody shooting me in the back, all right? Anybody I see, and all of y'all could get it. So I don't think Marlene was any different than him.
I did like that scene, though, of the camp on the mountainside. I think that was dope. I don't remember if that was in the game or not. Like, that, you know how
I
you...
don't think so.
No, right?
I don't remember, though.
Yeah.
Well, they're in the forest when it happens. I just don't know if it's overlooking Jackson.
Right.
I don't
I didn't think we
remember.
ever got to see Jackson in the first game.
No,
we only
you
saw
don't.
the dam.
The dam.
It was alright. I'm so glad they didn't do that dam.
Same. Same.
Is there a whole damn scene that I'm forgetting
There's
about?
a whole
the
damn
game.
section of the
Yeah,
game.
they basically, when they're getting near Jackson, they get near the dam, and as they get through it, they fight some infected, and then they run into the character, like, you know, Joel's brother and all of them. And there's a whole thing about getting the dam up and working. So basically, Joel helps them get power to Jackson, and then he goes on his way. He never actually goes to Jackson. It was so much cooler to see Jackson, especially because Jackson plays a bigger role in the second game. It's nice to have, like, you know, lived there a little bit, you know. But anyways, back to the real question, right? Because Tony hit a whole pivot. Did Joel do the right thing? Right? That's the question that we all need to answer.
Yes,
Absolutely not.
he did.
Absolutely not. Yeah, he took matters into his own hands, and that was mass murder. He was like, I'm going to commit mass murder now.
He potentially doomed the entire planet.
The whole entire planet.
The planet
he
was
shot
doomed
a
to begin with.
doctor right in the head. Think of how important a doctor is in the end of days.
That was one of my thoughts. I was like, man, how many doctors are realistically left in the world right now? How many actual doctors, and not just people that have learned a little bit of medicine from a doctor?
Yeah, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, you guys.
You say, Mateo, did he do the right thing?
I think that he made the right decision for him, the only decision that he would be able to live with. But it's probably not the right decision for humanity as a whole. But I don't know that any one of us here would make a different decision in that exact situation.
I think they added a very great piece of like that they didn't add in the game that he tried to kill himself. They talked about that right before this whole thing went down. So I think he basically was going through his head like, if I go through that again, I might as well be dead. Like, I might as well die right now.
But see, yeah, I think the way I'm looking at it,
So
right?
I think he made the wrong choice. But it's the choice I know I would have made.
Yeah.
And I could justify him making it, but it's wrong. He doomed the entire planet. Like, if they made a cure out of that, he just said every single person on planet Earth has to forever deal with this thing if there's no one else that's immune.
I thought they added another flip to it too. I don't remember it, but it's been a while since I played the game. But in the show, at least, Ellie had no idea that she was going to die from this procedure. Like
She didn't in the game. She didn't know that
in the game. She didn't know that either. Nope. So I mean, Marlene also made a fucked up decision, because not telling someone that they're about to sacrifice their life to, like, that's a pretty messed up decision to take away from someone.
Because
So what are you trying to say, Tony?
just to get on that one real quick, because she was afraid that Ellie would say no, and they would have to force that kid to die. That's why I swear that's why she didn't tell him. Obviously, that there's no hints to that. You know what I mean? But now, the way I'm looking at it, the reason why I said I don't think he made a bad decision, the world's fucked regardless. People are surviving around the world that they're living. They're starting to thrive. There's Jackson, the people in Kansas, Fireflies. They are building around the environment.
I wouldn't say thrive. Jackson seemed like it was
they're
thriving.
They were at the
Kansas,
brink of
not
death.
so much.
Yeah, I wouldn't go back to KC. KC got swarmed by those underground infected.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
And they literally show you how a group of people like Jackson, if you tweak it just a little bit, you could be like David's group of people that they're trying to thrive, but it's winter. They ain't finding food, and they're now eating human meat. So it's like, I don't think anybody out there is thriving the way you're saying on any big level. But
Okay, so like decision wise, I think that was the only way that's the only outcome that could have happened. I don't think because it's a big if, bro. You know what I mean? It's not a for sure thing that you're gonna get what you need, make the cure and stuff like that. I mean, you have a better chance at probably doing blood transfusions than fucking. You know what I mean? Like,
how do you mass produce a cure like that in the apocalypse too? Like, how are they going to distribute this around the country, around the world?
yeah, I mean,
Johnny Appleseed, one person at a time.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that they would have made the cure, and that they would have. I don't know. I think Joe's a piece of shit for doing what he did, but I would have done it in a heartbeat.
it's
So,
definitely
like,
selfish.
I see. My whole stance on this is this, right? And Tony, you might not like it. I don't care, because last time you scoffed at me saying this, but it comes down to a matter of consent, okay? And Ellie did not consent to getting killed. All right, like and I think she would have consented. That right? That's the fucked up part. In both the game and the movie, in the game, they had like a near death situation. They both kind of drown. She's like unconscious. Joel is awake, and one of the fireflies knocks him out, and then the rest plays out similarly. So Ellie goes from being unconscious all the way to the surgery room. In this one, she's more conscious. She says, "Oh, I was with some fireflies." It was the last thing that she remembered. But basically, they didn't tell her that they were going to do surgery on her in any way that was going to result in her death. Mm-hmm. So I feel like without that, there's no way that I could ever accept it. Like,
Same.
nothing. I don't like I don't know. I'm not going to live my life without my daughter because y'all want something. Like, I'm good. I'm going to be dead. I'm going to be dead in 20 years maybe. All right. That cure, even if you make it and all of that, ain't going to save the world in that amount of time. So I'm still going to have to live a life similar to what I'm going to be end up living regardless. I get to live it with my kid. You know what I mean? There's no way I'm going to trade that unless my kid is going hard and saying, "Nah, I want this. Like, I want to change the," you know what I mean? Like,
do you think Joel would have let her sacrifice herself if she had been given the option to make that decision? Or does it end the same? Does Joel still end up shooting up the entire hospital and pulling her out of surgery and she just hates him?
I think he'll still do the same.
I think Joel lets her do what she wants to do, personally. I think they would have had a big argument, a big fight, and all of that. But I could see him still going on a rampage.
I think the loss of his first daughter, or his actual kid, and then now losing Ellie, somebody he just opened up to. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, I don't think there's anything anybody could have said or done, even her, that he would have changed the outcome. It would have been the same. Just, I don't know. You lose a kid once, you have another kid, or you get that same bond. I don't think you could do it again. I don't think you can let yourself live if you did it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially when you feel like you can change the situation.
Yeah. He definitely changed the situation.
Which is probably how he felt with his daughter, too. Like, I guarantee that man was thinking in his head, like, man, if I had just twisted differently, I would have been the one shot instead of her. Or if I had, whatever. I'm sure he's replayed that situation 20,000 times in his head.
But yeah, I think he made the right decision. Even though it doomed the world, fuck it, the world's already doomed. The hell,
But it wouldn't be doomed. What does that mean?
It is that. It's just still bro, I don't think they would have made the cure.
If they could make a cure and be done with this shit, then the world's not doomed. They could come back.
Nah, I don't think
If nobody gets infected anymore, if everybody's immune, the infected are going to die out over time. There's still going to be a lot of deaths dealing with this, but they could get to a point where they could eradicate all the infected and then just rebuild society and live, go back to regular lives. Like,
I mean,
I don't know how you could say that, oh, fuck all that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the show is definitely supposed to be. It's not It's not a black and white show. It's a show with a lot of gray in it. Like you even see like the KC revolution we keep talking about. Henry talks about how Fedra was abusing them and they were torturing them and killing them and raping them and all that. And he's like, so what happens when you do that to people for so long? He's like, once they get power, they do the same thing back to you. And you saw that. You saw the chaos of the KC revolution. They were dragging that dude through the streets with 40 knives out poked into his body. Like they were just murdering dudes with pipes on the street. Like they weren't the good guys just because the other people were bad guys, you know?
Yeah.
I think they really explained that really well through the show, not like through the scenes, how like dire the situation is.
Mm-hmm.
I still wouldn't. I don't know.
So what were y'all's favorite moments in the show? What is your top favorite moment in the entire show?
I like Bill playing the piano.
Oh
I
man,
felt like that was my favorite part of the whole show. And the show just did characters so well.
Mm-hmm.
And the character building, really the relationship between characters so well. And I like that moment of I forget Bill's like lover's name, but
Frank
saying, "Oh yeah, I could play the piano," and just completely botching it. And
Bill,
like, all right.
Bill has responded to him when he's playing it. He's like, "No, thank you. No, stop."
But it's like it's just their characters, right? Like Frank is gonna be like, "Fuck it, I'm this carefree guy. I'm gonna live how I live, and I'm gonna express myself however, and I just need people to accept me or whatever." Like, and Bill's like, "Nah, we ain't doing that shit here. We're gonna play this right, okay?" And then he had this beautiful rendition of that song. I thought it was awesome.
I did like the Joel's and Ellie's bantering back and forth, or just their conversations, because you could see it throughout the whole show how they just build up their relationship. I don't know why, but the giraffe scene still makes it for me. Like even in the game, I was like, "Damn, this is fucking cool."
That same line of thought. My favorite Ellie and Joel moment, and one of my favorite moments of the show, is when she finally cracks him with one of the jokes, and she's like, "Joe, I need to ask you something serious. Why is diarrhea hereditary?" She's like, "Because it runs in your genes," and he's just over there, just not wanting to laugh. He's like, "That's so stupid." To catch the giggles, he tells her to go to sleep. She tells him to go to sleep. I thought it was a very genuine moment of like how a daughter would interact with her father.
Yeah.
I loved how the banter progressed. Like it started off with them pretty much right after Tess died. Like that first episode where he's just like, this place is this far away. We need to walk there this fast. Like, we don't need to talk to each other. And then Ellie's still trying to ask him a bunch of things, and he's just like not really wanting to have the conversation. To like, he cracks up at that joke. And then when they're like right around the winter time, they're kind of chatting a little bit more, but Joel's still a little bit reserved. To just this episode where Joel's asking her to tell him jokes. You know what I mean? Like that progression of banter, I thought was cool.
I enjoyed the arrival to Jackson. I thought that little moment he has when he yells out his brother's name and they get close to each other and they hug each other. I was like, man, I would want to hug I was like, I thought about it. If I didn't see my brother in years, 10, 15 years, and I see him again, I might cry a little bit. You know what I mean? And the way he says, "I'm here to rescue you." It's because, older brothers are always there, you know what I mean, to get their younger brothers out of shit.
Well, he said that kind of tongue in cheek too, because he's walking through this thriving town with like stores set up and they're putting up buildings. He's like, "Yeah, I'm here to rescue you from all this."
Yeah. And just towards the end of that, when he was explaining to him, like, he doesn't think he can do this, it was, to me, it was more impactful than what they did with the game.
That was a raw moment. That was a raw moment.
Poppy Pascal, bro. He's a very good actor, bro. I give it to him.
I've heard he's daddy, and he says that daddy is a state of mind.
What's up?
Yeah, that scene where he yells out Tommy's name, that scene actually got me real emotional.
Same.
Tony, you said there was a scene that made you cry.
Yeah, you talking about it? It was
that
Joe
one?
and Ellie, and then that scene. Oh,
Was it Joe and Ellie, the baby girl?
Yes, and then that scene with
I'm
Tom.
like, there's a whole show of Joe and Ellie. Which fucking scene?
Yeah, no, yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. I thought I made it clear earlier in the. But no, yeah.
I thought
Go ahead. Sorry.
the kid in Kansas, the 14-year-old kid that runs through the door and Ellie shoots him in the back. And then he's like, tells her to go back in the hole and shit. I thought that was really well done. I was like, man, I don't even know who this kid is. And I kind of don't want him to die. He's like, here, it's a knife. It's still good.
Man, that kid went from, you don't know who you've messed with, you motherfucker, I'm going to put you in the grave, to mommy, real quick, though.
Yeah, he switched up ASAP.
I would have killed the fuck out of him. I wanted that motherfucker to die. He was choking Joe to death.
Yeah.
You don't get to just start choking somebody to death to turn around and start crying for your mom. It don't work like that.
But that's how real.
We all have moms, okay? All of us. You can't defer to a mommy because you're about to die. It don't work like that.
You think they ate the guy that Joel killed, or the guy that stabbed Joel? They killed that guy, right?
They ate that guy.
They ate him, right?
Yeah,
That's why they're like, we
for
can't,
sure.
we
Definitely.
can't bury him. I was
We can't.
like,
We'll bury him after winter. It's
That's-
like, They brought that guy's body back, and they were eating him right then and there.
Yeah, that's why they brought the meat out, and they were like, what is it? And he pauses, and he's like, venison.
No, I don't.
bro,
nah,
I don't know. I would
I
be
don't
able
know.
to put one and two together. I'm like, bitch, I don't see any cows around here right about now.
Venison is
Like,
deer, but nah, I don't think.
I thought venison is baby cow.
No,
No, you're thinking
That's
of veal.
deal.
Of veal.
Oh, man, they'd be
Sorry.
good if they were eating veal.
Yeah, they were eating
They were
veal. That'd be
eating-
lit. Sorry,
That's
what are
cool.
you saying, Tony? That wasn't human they were eating?
I don't think that was human.
I
bro.
think that was
I don't
human. I'm pretty
know,
positive that
bro.
was human.
Maybe I don't want to
You
believe
know they
it.
were eating humans, right?
Yeah, but I don't think in that scene it was actual human meat.
Yes.
I think that was human.
You
Some
think
of
so?
them
You don't
knew.
think it was something they had saved and then?
Bro, there's
No.
there's a
fucking
reason.
ear on the ground. And
That
wasn't
could be
there a
from a
whole
clinker
room
before or
with hanging
something.
human bodies? They had bodies on deck. They were ready to grind them up. All right?
You didn't hear how hard them plates was. The shit was hitting the plates. Them people were hungry as fuck, bro. And some of them people knew, and you kind of could tell who knew, because they kind of were like hesitant to eat it. But that scene was pretty good. Even that episode.
He played evil real good. Oh my god, him slapping the daughter at dinner
Yeah.
caught me off guard. Was not expecting that.
That was a
And then the
decent
mom
slap
had to
though.
stand up, and he just told her, like, sit down. I got this. I thought that was crazy.
some real creepy pedophile vibes with David there.
I don't think it's vibes. That shit was pretty overt. Yeah. He fucking was rubbing on her hand. And then later, when he pinned her down, he's like, don't you know? The fight is the best part. Like, he was ready. He was
Dude.
ready to go to town on her, bro.
When he started rubbing her hand, I felt sick. Like it hit me like viscerally. It's wild how strong emotions this show's been able to pull out of me.
So overall,
Yeah.
I'm assuming we all give this a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of a better adaptation that I've ever seen, honestly.
I give
I-
it a thumbs up. You should watch the show. It's phenomenal.
I
Like-
give it a 5 out of 5.
It feels like it blew like even the first few seasons of Game of Thrones out of the water. Like it just feels like it is probably the best adaptation that I've ever seen.
Damn.
I'm very happy. I don't think my expectations were like blown out the fucking water.
Yeah, their ability to streamline the story, get to the meat, the important parts, add in some extra sauce. It's untouched.
Do you
Yeah.
think?
Especially those last two episodes, I was like so concerned, especially when I heard that the last episode was only 45 minutes. I'm like, how are they going to pull this off in such a short amount of time? I'm like, this is going to be crazy rushed. And even still, they managed to do it in a very concise amount of time, and it felt like, it felt good enough. I didn't need to live there anymore,
Do you think just because it was 10 episodes, 10 episodes?
8
Nine.
episodes, 9?
Nine.
Something like
Nine
that.
episodes.
Nine.
Do you think because it was 9 episodes that it made it good? Anything longer than 9 episodes, it would kind of been, man, there would have been some errors in each scene or something like that.
I think there's some places they could have stopped and taken a bit more time. They could have given us a longer Henry and Sam arc. They could they could have done these things. I think it helped that they didn't. I think that the risk of taking away from the pacing of the story by building out some of these sections a little bit more didn't make sense. I think that they had like the perfect runtime. I think they had the perfect way that they pushed through things. It helped a lot that they deprioritized action, so we're not just getting 40 scenes in the series that are just Joel killing people, fighting clickers or something. Like, it's not the important part of the story.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I was never a fan of 10-episode seasons or 9-episode things of shows, but I think they found a great way to speed through a whole entire game in a show.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this show is probably better than Game of Thrones. Honestly. I know Pucho probably don't agree.
I don't think.
I mean,
so.
Game of
I
Thrones.
love both of these shows. I think they're both phenomenal shows. But
When you're comparing it to Game of Thrones, though, you can only compare like the first like 3 or 4 seasons or something, though, right? Like, if you're taking
I'm
Game
not
of
doing
Thrones
the
as a
whole.
whole,
Yeah, I'm not doing the whole.
with the last season.
But even
I
Game
think-
of Thrones,
I
the
think
first
first-
season.
No, I think the first like 6 seasons of Game of Thrones are phenomenal. What is it, 7 and 8 that are like, in my opinion, trash.
1 through
even-
4 are like perfect.
Yeah.
5 and 6 are like you're feeling the dip.
The pacing gets a little weird in 5 and 6.
The pacing gets weird. You're like, some things are a little weird,
But I
there's
thought-
still some great moments. 7 and 8 are like, shit is getting out of hand. Like,
The way they ended the 6th season by like the chapel
the bomb?
collapsing. Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
that was
incredible.
incredible way to like wrap up a season. For me, I just wish they ended the show right there. I'm like, wait until they come out something with the book, all right? Wait for this guy to write something. It shit would have been Elden Ring.
As
Yeah, but
someone
even-
that has not played Last of Us Part 2, I am so nervous for what's going to happen in this next season.
Wait, you didn't play Last of Us Part 2?
Yeah.
Nope.
No spoilers.
I am
say
so
this.
nervous. All I know is that there's
good.
there's a buff girl that Crystal's got a crush on, and that's about it. That's all I got out of that from Last of Us
my
Part 2.
I got a crush on Abby, bro. I want her to lift me up.
yeah, that was the only thing. I was like, I was a little disappointed with this season that we didn't get an Abby plug. Like,
yeah.
I felt like just some kind of hint or just something
A
that
throwaway
Abby
line or something.
exists, because she's a major character in the second season. It'd be nice to have a little bit of continuity there, but
Yeah,
anyhow,
that's yo, Mateo. You gotta
no show in the history of the world, okay, or probably in the history of forever, moving forward, will ever be on the scale of Game of Thrones. All right, I'm saying too many characters, too many sets, way too many things to keep track of. It's incredible. There's literally no show like it. Nothing comes even close. And
Wire?
as much as I love The Last of Us, no, The Wire does not come close in those regards. I love The Wire for a lot of reasons. I think I would as a show, The Wire is a better show than Game of Thrones, but you can't deny The Wire's so grounded. Like, it looks like they filmed the whole show in a police station and like 3 different streets. Like, the scale is very small. The Last of
Fair.
Us, the scale is very small still. Like, they travel a lot, but it's all about the characters, right? The show takes place around like 2-3 people and like getting to know those people. Game of Thrones, they're doing all of that and 30 other things. It's just such a grand show. There's just I can't think of another single show that I'm like, yep, this show is as big as Game of Thrones. Like, there just isn't. It doesn't exist.
Not even
That's
only
true.
that first season, the first episode of Game of Thrones, shit goes down. The first
I
episode.
know. I was going to bring it up when Mateo was like, yeah, the theme of this show is love and what people would do for love. And I was like, yeah, Jamie Lannister will throw a fucking kid out of a tower. And then the episode ends, the things we do for love. Like, that's the last line of the show. The episode. I was like, fuck.
But no, yo, Mateo, you need to go play Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, I intend to start that before the next season.
Bro.
If you think if you think this show makes you felt feelings, whatever they're gonna do in the second season is gonna be tenfold. There's so much, like, there's a lot. Like, and there are there's a hinting towards how, like, the feelings of our characters. You know what I mean? Like Tony says at the end, we know Ellie knows that whatever Joe said ain't true.
Yeah.
So it's like struggling with those feelings of betrayal from the only person that loves you in this whole world. There's nobody else that loves Ellie, and nobody else has been a real parental figure to her. So to be betrayed by your only parent, like, I'm sure is like a very serious gut punch to her.
For sure.
And so there's a lot of the whole second game and presumably the whole second season is all around how to deal with the opposite of positive feelings of love. And it's about deep harsh feelings. Okay.
She's got a violent heart. That's what I've heard.
And I'm telling you right now, season 2 is going to be a 2-parter. There's no way. After playing the game, there's no fucking way they're going to do 1 part, 10 episodes. You can't cover that much game in 10 episodes. You can't.
That's the early rumors. The early rumors are saying that there's going to be 2 more seasons because they can't cover.
Yeah, it's just too much emotions. I was happy, sad, mad, and angry almost every section of the game. I don't know how about Doe or Pedro. Even can't even talk about it. It's gonna show. But ladies and gentlemen, if you like the review, hit the subscribe button, the share, the like, the follow, all that. And please comment if you think our reactions or we're missing something or we didn't see something or, whatever case might be. Leave a comment. Let us know. And as always, go on up yourself. Peace.
Peace.